For more than 3 months, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has produced harrowing images of war and suffering. Now, a group of Ukrainian graphic artists is responding to the violence with creativity. They've come together to share their work and raise money for their country. Face the Nation moderator and chief foreign affairs correspondent Margaret Brennan has been speaking to some of the artists about their powerful images.
We are not soldiers, or we are not doctors. Being an artist during the war, like you think people are dying and you're drawing.
Artist Anna Sarvera does not know when she will return to Ukraine. She's haunted by the war.
You don't have an experience of the war, you only feel hate, and it's a terrible feeling. I was drawing in this feeling, and when you feel only that, you cannot do anything else.
Anna co-founded a collective to share graphic art from fellow illustrators.
Most of them decided not to leave the country. They were never stopping working and drawing.
Like artist Alexander Shatokin. As Russian bombs dropped on his city, he sent Anna works of art each day.
When I saw this, it made me tear up.
He was trying to capture all the child victims in one picture.
Anna's collective helped organize more than 40 exhibitions around the world to auction artwork and raise money for Ukraine, including at Ukraine House here in Washington.
Many of the women have left. They're refugees. Anna here, Anna Sarvera, is one of them.
She is now in Germany.
This is Putin again.
I call it my secret dream, and I hope that this war against Ukraine will end up to Putin like that with his death. He started something terrible.
You wrote, "You never thought you could hate so much."
I always felt like I'm a nice, good person.
Illustrator Tanya Yakunova's work is inspired by the bravery of ordinary Ukrainians.
We have these videos where Russian shooting and people don't even scare of the sound of the gun.
She drew even while fleeing the bombing of Kyiv and is now documenting the horrific atrocities left behind. She calls this piece Bucha Mother.
This image is a collective image of the several victims who they can share their stories. Unfortunately, army found corpses of several young women naked and raped on a roadside, and Russians tried to burn them.
Tanya used to illustrate children's books, but the war has robbed her and so many others of that innocence.
There is more stories about a woman who was raped in front of her small baby, and neither woman nor baby survived. They were shot. I felt so much hate for people who did it. This is probably the hardest piece I ever drew.
These women can't tell their stories, but you're telling their stories.
I wish I would never need to draw this.
For CBS Mornings, Margaret Brennan in Washington.
It is so hard to think that November of last year, this was an intact country. I mean, it was fearing the worst, and now all of this hatred, destruction.
It's been so haunting to see the winter in that country, which is so grim, turn to the spring, and it looks so beautiful, but the news just gets worse and worse.
It gets worse, and these people have to deal with it, and it's hard to watch. It is harder to live through, I am sure.
Unfortunately, this art is necessary, decades, centuries from now, to tell the story of what happened, to remind people of the atrocities.
Really nice piece from Margaret Brennan.
Absolutely. People cannot forget this.
Powerful
they cannot
images.
forget what happened.